Testing, testing. Can anyone hear this? Or the music. Oh. Oh, I don't have music on right now, but let's see if this works. Ah, you can hear us now. Okay. Well, looks like I have been talking to myself. But hello. I haven't started the music yet because wanted to read through the episode first. Just so we can get a recap of what has been happening before I start playing footage of me working on it, you know? But hi, everybody. Welcome to the stream again. Hello, hello, hello. I guess I won't read through the first half then, since I've been kind of scrolling through. But yeah, hi, Chico. So this is going to be live audio. Well, I'll be talking live. Hi, Nix. Nick's in the background. From the beginning. Well, if y'all want to read it, okay, I'll just read it through again then. Pretend it's a new, fresh start. Gotcha. Oh, also, if you hear any sounds in the background, so the internet has been cut off at home, so I am at work right now recording this. And so if you hear some sounds in the background, that's just the printer running. I hope the mic isn't too loud. I'm talking pretty close to it today because the room has some pretty loud ambience, but that silent time never happened. What are you talking about? I'm totally not talking to myself. Anyways, so we got episode 69, and for the little doodle in the beginning of the episode, I decided to go with a bit of a map because honestly, I kind of changed up the geography based on the game. You're supposed to walk right out of Twist Mountain into Icarus City, but I wanted there to be a little bit of a lull time, so I stuck Route 8 in between. So just so people don't get confused if they've played the game. And then you got my Dorito Mountains in the background. That's Twist Mountain. And they're just walking around talking about Bianca, as you do. When you have a friend group of 3 and only 2 of you are hanging out, you kind of talk about the other person. Let's be real. Those clouds, though. Oh, yes. I hope you enjoy seeing me struggle with the clouds later. So Charon's like, I never saw her as the studious type, let alone a lab assistant. Can you imagine her in a lab coat? Oh, wait. So that's why we called her to get in touch with the professor. Yeah, so she could bust us out of jail. So I actually went back to check when the last time they spoke with Bianca was, and I think it was on the phone when they needed to talk to Professor Juniper in Driftvale. So it's been a while. She could have told me. Although, to be fair, it's not like we could talk that long considering the circumstances. Still, I've been pretty out of the loop, it seems. We've all been doing our own thing. A lot has changed since we left Nuvema. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think we're all in a different place from when we started. In any case, Bianca finally seems to be happy doing what she loves. It may sound cheesy, but I'm honestly really proud of her. Yeah, well, I think the same could be said about you. Bianca is good, Tails. Chico says when the cloud brush is more powerful than the other brushes. Chico, why are they going to jail? I don't get that ref. Oh, Chico, so back in Driftvale, they were like doing stuff with Team Plasma, and then Clay shows up and arrests all of them. So they went to jail for a stint. Don't you remember? And then Jet had to do community service to get out. Aw, gee, you really think so? Oh, it's funny because it looks like July is saying the next word bubble. I misplaced the tail, but yeah, that should be Charon's bubble. They did some hard time. Yeah. I have to reread that. Go and reread it. It's a great arc. I do, especially when I see how well your Pokemon get along. Let me know if you need any help. Blip blip blip. Aw, thanks, Kidoo. And I added some reaction pics because I wanted to show that the Pokemon are paying attention when the humans talk. You know, they can't really participate in the dialogue, but they're there. Aw, shucks, I'm really proud of you too. Elder, better watch out. Friendship punch. I put that word bubble, that little word bubble down there, and I don't remember what was supposed to go there. I think I may have had something else in mind, but when I went around to do the dialogue, I'm like, no idea. Friendship punch. Aw, Chico. Chico says kind of like Kingdoms, and I'm like, oof. Now that's a high order. Uh, Chico says your strips are the longest I've seen. Oh yeah, in terms of like length, you got me there. Kidu says I support characterizing Pokemon despite them not being part of the convo. Yes, and Kidu, your last episode was so much fun. I love seeing the dialogue-less scenes where it's just Pokemon. I never asked myself why I wanted to be the strongest. I just knew I had to be. But now I feel like by focusing on that, I've somehow failed my team as a trainer. Well, maybe not as a trainer, but as a friend? And then little dog playing around in the puddle and sploosh! Exclamation points! Fire dog's just like, oh no, my baby! Little dog? What in the world is that thing? Shouldn't we... So Charon was about to be like, we should get moving, but then he was like, wait a minute. Man, this sure brings back memories. Yeah, we used to noodle for guppies all day. Oh, what even is it? A soggy pancake? It's a stunfisk. It's a fish, but it's got an electric typing. Why not keep it? It's not great, but even a little coverage is better than none. Sure, why not? Sploosh. And Sunny joins the team. Hi, Sunny. Welcome to the team. Tails says, my child. Chico says, I love this scene. Kidu says, I love the Fisk. Stunfisk. You can make a whip out of these episodes. Kidu, you do it so well. I support character. Okay. The panel of the flup Fisk is the best part of this page. I love the fishbowl crew. Yeah, so that's definitely what I would have done if I, in real life, caught one of the stunfisks. It's so floppy. And it makes a fart noise when it shows up in the game. You get sludge that comes alive on moonshine, so why not having living pancakes? Ooh. Don't drink the sludge that comes off a stunfisk. This is my bowl. What now? Alright, so we enter Icarus City, and oh my goodness, guys, I love this panel so much. I spent so long. And I think the longest time that it took on this page is just looking up the references and stuff for everyone. But I went through and got all my patrons in this page somewhere. I think they're all in here. I might have stuck someone else in another page, but It's so much fun. And there's Pudge. There's the Pudge. Flew all the way from Kanto. Wow, looks like a festival. Aren't they worried about the bad weather coming? They don't mind the rain. That's what the tents are for. Bianca! Hello, Jet. And Charon, what a rare sighting. When was the last time all three of us were together? Ha ha! Hey, Bianca, did you just get here too? I don't know what any of these kids are supposed to sound like, by the way. I'm just making stuff up as I go. Hello, my stuff 789. Says that Pidgey looks like it saw something magical. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Pudge is the best. Oh, you shaded that one pair in the middle. Yep. After you mentioned it, I had to go back and fix it. Chico says, I never caught the bear tick eating a hot dog, LMAO. Yeah. I think the bear tick is the only one in that panel that doesn't have a reference to something. And my friend shamed me for it. Chico says, so you are a trainer in this universe. That means I can cameo you. I have been cameoed in several appearances in this comic, actually. The first thing I go to is a picture of myself. Well, about an hour ago, the professor is here to meet with Bryson. Bryson? That's the guy Alder wanted to meet. Oh, yes, the champion did drop in as well. Gave everyone a shock. He dropped in. Your speech bubble is squashing me. Charon, be wary of the fourth wall. We're in the later games. We can't keep making jokes like that. But wait, Bianca, aren't you Juniper's assistant now? How come you aren't in the meeting? I wasn't allowed. Oh, guys, you should have told me. The chat window is so small. There you go. I wasn't allowed in, so they told me to enjoy the fair. Aw, B, I'm sorry. No, it's not a big deal. I wouldn't have been much help anyway. Gotta love the meta jokes. 10 out of 10 voice acting, carry on. Thank you, Chico. You're too kind. Hi, Mooney. Hello again, Francis. Love the new form. Aw, thanks. July, you've also grown quite a bit. I know. They're always so happy to see each other. I'm happy to see you too, Jet. Oh, Bianca. Sorry for worrying you. I had a lot of junk to sort through, but I think I'm all right now. You'll be all right. Hey, little dog, where'd you get that floaty thing? That man just gave me one. I don't know. Zoom. That man is actually Carl from Up. I don't know why he's there, but I just couldn't think of anyone else to sell balloons. Ha ha, come on, guys. Your pokes should join in the fun, too. That's a great idea, Jet. Ivy would love a balloon. Ivy is Bianca's Servine, which I actually hadn't named until this point. So, there you go. Yeah, sure. Sounds like a lot of fun and stuff. What? Yeah, Charon's trying his best to be social, and Bianca's like, what? Who are you? Excuse me? And then we get to see all the teams finally. I think this is the first time you get to see everyone from Bianca's team. But you got no, sorry, that's not Purloin. Laypard, Duat, Simisear, and Charon's Unfizant, which hadn't shown up until this point. So I was starting to worry that people would assume he was dead or something. Bianca's what's that called? A Stoutland? Servine. I think technically her Servine should be evolved by now in the game, but since Charon's Duat hadn't evolved yet, I decided to not embarrass him by having 2 of the other starters evolved. And then Mooney, of course, and Simipour. And you get Jet's team doing the Dragon Ball Z pose. They're good Babs. Disco Pour, you mean? Oh, yeah. Squad goals. And everyone just having fun. Everyone just having fun. Someone pointed out that Charon and Jet's Infizants look like they're about to have a throwdown. And I don't know if you noticed, but the Liepard is not amused with the happy dog. And of course, gotta give Red Eye a little love. And I was wondering how he and Sunny were gonna share a bowl, it being so small, but Sunny's so flat it barely even matters. Get everyone just dancing the maypole dance. Don't ask me where that meat came from. It tastes good, and that's all that matters. And this is a bit of a stretch, but that's actually supposed to be Kanem from the Diamond series. I wanted to throw in some of my favorites in there, and yeah, a lot of the older ones, it's hard to tell if it's just a generic or if it's not, you know, a specific locks. And Tails is in that panel. And you got Sir Francis and Jet and all their friends just joining in the maypole dance and having a good time. Sir Francis is such a gent. Having a good time, having a good time. Da, 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 da. Tails says, Nick says that meat is tepig. Oh no! They are delicious when you put them in a pot. Just a fun time, no stress, no death. Yep. Always a good time when there's no death. So, after all that, you're still looking for N. Call me crazy, but he's not a bad guy. I feel like he can be reasoned with. Juniper thinks so too. She just doesn't know how to get through to him. Yeah, that's the hard part. Settling things peacefully would certainly be the best scenario. But why would we even need to worry about any of this when Alder, Bryson, and the professor are all in the case? We should just leave it to the adults to handle. You're probably right as usual. Charon, this plasma stuff will affect us all. We ought to do what we can to help. Jet, you said N mentioned an ancient tower and dragons, right? Yeah, he said he was gonna find one up there. I didn't tell Alder because I thought he'd laugh at me. Well, fairy tale or not, it's still a clue to finding out where Team Plasma is be hiding. What? Oh no! I catched a typo. Is be hiding. I'm going to tell the professor about this. All right. Good luck, Bianca. I can't very much agree with what you've been up to either, but I'm willing to talk about it. I would just be wasting my breath. A person like you is nothing but an obstacle between me and my goal. Why did you tell me this? I don't know. I guess I trust you. It's gotta be me. What was that? And won't listen to anyone else. If we're to settle this peacefully, then it's gotta be me. Now hold on a sec. You don't even know where this guy is. But I can't just sit around here either. Jet, be reasonable. Oh! I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. And she looks up and Plasma is running along in the background. Plasma! And that is to be continued. All right. How old are they? You can catch all Pokemon, but you can't catch all typos. Wait a sec. Is that from Mokemon? Don't know what you're talking about, Chico. Sin looks so scared. Oh man. She just like is like, why is that random kid screaming at the top of her lungs? And Kadu's in Red is in the background, and she's being scared by this herdier, so she's like tosses the frisbee, go away. Anyway, so let's get the show on the. Before I do that, I'm gonna turn on the music on here so it. Wait, Tails, what? Wait, Jet, what do you want? No audio on drawing. Your voice goes away when you bring up the other screen. Am I back? Ooh. Sorry, that was loud. Let's turn this on. No, there you are. All right. Well, sorry guys. It seems like I turned off all the mics when I switched to my other setup. This is a little bit of a different set from my usual, but here I am. There I go. All right, well, let's get this show started, shall we? I think we've dilly-dallied long enough. We got our music playing, we got the footage running, and let's just see what we have. So, how many mics do you have? I have the one, but basically I made some new scenes in OBS. Since I'm not drawing at home on my Cintiq, so I'm here at the shop, and I decided to make a new scene just to show the commentary really big, or not the commentary, the footage. And I cut together the footage here from what I recorded last month. Basically, Chico suggested I start recording my process again so I can show it off as maybe a time lapse or something, and I thought that was a great idea, but by then I had already finished the line art. So I've actually started, I've recorded the line art and sketching for the next episode, which if this is fun for y'all, I can do this again next month for the next episode. But yeah, you don't get to see me doing line art or anything here. This first section I actually left real time. Some of the other parts I'll have increased the speed by quite a lot, but this first section is just me plopping down flats, the base colors. You see I have my swatches on the corner there, and I just sample the characters and throw them in, but because I go around so fast, it kind of gave me nausea just watching it go at like a top speed. So I decided to play this part at a little slower, and it'll give us some more time to talk anyways. My brain just doesn't really work so well when I'm watching the really sped up footage. Hello, Mouse! Mouse on the piano! I'll be watching along as I draw. Oh, yes! Yes, that's a great idea! Thank you for joining in. Seeing one of my favorite artists making a page of my favorite comics, I'll be taking mental notes. Aw, shucks, my stuff. Mouse is in the house. Yeah. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and just plop them in whenever it comes up. And if you need me to pause anything or, you know, go back, or I'll see what I can do to accommodate. But a lot of this is repetitive anyway, so I may be able to talk over it even if it goes by. But yeah, the action that I'm using on the top right there is the color action, which I made to make coloring a little faster, and what it does basically, I don't know if you know what actions are. I've talked about them before, but I'll explain again. But actions in Photoshop will record a set of commands that you input and play them back to you as when you press the button. So what that button up there does is when I click it, it brings it selects the layer right below the one I'm currently on. It expands the selection that I've made by 2 pixels, I believe, and fills with whatever color I select. And then it deselects and jumps back to the layer that I was on. So I don't even have to deselect anything. I can just straight go into selecting the next color. So all I have to do is select the area I want filled, select the color that I want to fill it with, and then click the button, which is really nice. Chico says, so you can paint fast. Oh, wait. Chico says, why not having each Kara on its own line art layer so you can paint faster? That actually wouldn't make it much faster, because a lot of the times if they block out the other one, then the line art ends up not closed, and then I can't, you know. Oh, but hi. Did you come to grab your keys? Zelda has shown up, but not for long, I'm sure. But, oh, thank you. Hey, how was the event? It was good. Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, that's awesome. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Well, you were caught red-handed. Hello, Zero Chan and usual watchers. Hello, Leonard Mapache. What's up? Well, feel free to walk around and cause a ruckus while I'm streaming. A wild coworker appeared? Anyways, but yeah, no, I prefer having all my line art on one layer and all my color in one layer. It just streamlines it for me. The way I draw the pages or the updates is I have them in little, I think it's like, I can't remember, 7x11 size pages, and then each page is a different group. And then all the layers are in that group. So for each page I have bubbles, I have, the word bubbles, the shadow, the line art, the color, and the sketch, and then any effects that I have to add, and I group all of those together. Tell them hello from the chat. Aw, shucks, I didn't catch that in time, but they're fine. Hello, Leonard. I heard those tip taps. I have to say, it's really strange streaming while there's people around in IRL. Usually, I'm used to just being by my lonesome. What's up? Appa Kappa? I still don't know what that is. I just know that if you type Kappa, some weird guy's face shows up. Oh, sorry, I bumped the mic. How long does it take to color one of these? That's a good question. I believe the raw footage was about, let me think. Like 5 hours or so. I can't remember, but it took quite a few recordings. I had to downsize these quite a bit. I think overall I had like 11 videos from the whole thing. Just like, you know, start and stop, and most of those were half an hour to 2 hour long. So yeah. Just dropping in flats, though, doesn't take too long. I think this whole process took me about an hour or two. Just selecting and dropping. And I actually really enjoy doing this, not because it's fun or anything, because it's like the most boring part of the whole process, but because I can do it just sitting anywhere. I don't need to connect my Cintiq or any tablets. I can just do this with my mouse. With my trackpad even. It's just click, click, click. But what happens is while I'm coloring in parts, I'll notice drawing mistakes, and then I can't fix them until later because I don't have my tablet attached. Chico says, hard working doesn't make you justice. You mean like making these from ideation to editing took you 5 hours? That's faster than lightning. Okay, well, maybe not 5 hours then. I have a really bad sense of timing. But like I said, ideation. You mean the whole episode? Wait, let me go back and read your question. How long does it take to color? Yeah, just coloring doesn't take too long at all. Yeah, just like dropping in colors and then going back and like adjusting the colors so my coloring technique isn't perfect. The corners in like sharp corners and stuff that are sometimes too tight will not get colored, so I still have to go in with a pen brush and like, you know, fill in white gaps. Tail says, all of you who do these big pages are so powerful. I look at something this large and am filled with fear. Zero is flexing her pixels. But you know, long episodes means you can take longer to do them. And doing short episodes actually fills me with fear because I'm like, how am I gonna find enough time consistently to draw that much? I mean, currently on March 25th, I have still not finished all of the line art for the next episode. I have one more panel. It's one big what's it called? Dragon Spiral Tower. Still has to be drawn from the exterior. But I've pretty much finished most everything else, I think. But yeah, backgrounds are still not all done. I still gotta add some more stuff to it. It's a thing, all right. And I haven't done all the dialogue either. Leonard says, I mean, yes, working on 4 panels at the time feels easier. Working on 4 panels at the time feels easier. For like short or for long? Because the problem with working on just 4 is I don't get a good sense of what's going to happen in that amount of time. The length of my episodes is dictated by the, like, I don't know how you call them, the beats, like story beats. So I don't want to stop an episode if it doesn't feel like a good pause would go there. And when you got only 4 pages to do at a time, it's like, what's gonna happen next? I don't know. Paneling, if you're talking about like individual panels, yeah, I work on 1 page at a time. So now that I'm doing flats, I'm going page 3, and now I finished page 3, I'm moving on to page 4. Turn off the sketch layer, select the line art, and just start plopping in colors. So I do all the flats, and then I go back and do all the, you know, other stuff. Leonard says, for me, I mean, doing 4 per page, I know your comic has a totally different pace. Oh, yes, yes. Everyone's comic has a different pace. Drop some beats while beatboxing. I only know the boots and cats. I can't do anything else. I can barely do the boots and cats. And Chico asks, wait a sec, doesn't these comics take a month to complete? Chico, if I didn't have a life and if I didn't have a job and if I could sustain myself on nothing but doing comics, I would be able to do maybe 2 of these in a month if I didn't, like, you know, do anything else. But because I have basically a full-time job and then I have to also do other stuff, it does end up taking me a whole month to get these done. I know, right? What a dream, Tail says. Oh, I do this often. I'll like accidentally select the wrong color. It looks especially funny when it's the skin that I select the wrong color for. Also, another thing about dropping flats like this is sometimes I'll like color everything except for a character's hair, and then suddenly it looks really silly because it's like they got white hair. So sometimes I'll like strategically do the hair first just so I don't have to look at that. So to understand, only the coloring takes 5 hours. Yes, Chico. So once I get the line art done, I will move on to coloring, and the coloring includes what I'm doing now, which is dropping in flats. I call them flats. I don't know if that's a technical term or whatever, but I make up terms all the time. The flats are just the base color. I think technically you would call it local color because it's the color something is without any light affecting it. And that is really simple because it's just clicking with the magic wand tool what you want selected, selecting the swatch for that character part, and then I use my action to like plop in the color. That will take maybe like an hour or 2, and a lot of sore wrists. And then I will go in with my tablet and actually fill in parts that couldn't be selected. So like let's say the line art isn't like completely closed, can't select that, so I will have to color it in by hand. Also, if let's say the corners were too pinchy and it didn't color all the way in, I'll zoom in a little bit and like clean those up. So that'll take maybe another half an hour to an hour, and then, you know, anything else that I missed. So overall, I think coloring shouldn't take too long. Coloring stops when I start doing backgrounds, and backgrounds takes another like long time. Backgrounds could take me 2 days of comicking. Not like full days, but like I've spent at least, you know, like one day will probably be 3 hours of work if I'm lucky. So yeah, backgrounds take a little longer because half the time I haven't drawn them all in yet, and I also have to like color line art when it comes to backgrounds, and I also have to like do stuff like the clouds that you see later and gradient effects and all that. Oh, you'll see on Lil Dog's mask there, because I did it scribbly, the selection didn't go in, so stuff like that I would have to go in and color. Also, the yellow circular rings, circular. I can't say words. The yellow parts of the Pat Rat's eyes, I have to go in and do by hand. Chico says Dialga made a pun. Kidu says, pretty sure flats is the term for the flat color area. So I call it flats even though I'm just doing sloppy first pass of grayscale. Alright, so Kidu confirms it. It is called flats. Sometimes I learn actual technical terms and then I forget that I learned them, and, you know, it becomes just a random term for me. Cadfirmed. Chico asks, eye rings? Yeah, you know, those yellow parts. Surely you know about those. Local color, eh? You sound so scholarly. I went to the School of Fart to learn the same. It's been some time since I last heard that term. Cat on. Circular is a word. Okay, you know the word I'm trying to say, right? Circular. 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 I need to work on my enunciation. Circular. Yes. See, sometimes I see words in my head and the letters get jumbled. So I was trying to put like L's where they didn't belong. Circular. And then it doesn't work. Anyways. I wonder what the degree of that institution would say for the School of Farts. For a lot of these newer members of Jet's team, I've been reusing flat colors from other members. So for Sunny, she has the same yellow that Firedog and Sir Francis has around their waist here, but I'm also like trying to figure out how I like the colors. And I think I might have changed the color later. Yes, I'm selecting Lily's color now. I don't remember if I kept the yellow. But Lily's color is some that I like to use a lot. And here I'm realizing that Charon's little ahoge is on the wrong layer. I put it on the bubbles layer. When I draw Charon, I imagine in my head the essence of an apple. And that's how I kind of roughen his head. He has the stem on the top and then a little apple. Tail says 0. How do you come up with the personalities for your characters? A lot of the times it just happens when I draw them. It's like if you draw something and kind of try and make it look a little unique, that little uniqueness will start to show a personality through. But also, based on whatever the team dynamic is so far, there may be something that works better with the other characters. Honestly, I still have to sort of figure out a good personality for Red Eye. I haven't really gotten him down. I want to say he's a little insecure maybe, but I can't tell if he's insecure or if he's just not interested. For Sunny, I'm not sure what her personality is, but she gives off a sort of, I don't know, a sort of impishness. Oh, and the Pokemon's, what is it called? Their nature is a great sort of starting off point too. Problem that I have is I've lost my actual game, so I can't go back and check their natures. So I'm just kind of fish out of water right now. But coming up with personalities it's not difficult, but it's also not easy. Sometimes it happens on its own and I don't have to do anything, but then other times it doesn't happen until way later. Let me think. With Sir Francis, he's changed a lot. When he first started, I really wanted him to play off of Jet. Jet being like such a crazy and really excitable character. Oof, I hope I fixed that smudge on her hand over there. I don't remember. But Jet being like so impulsive and like crazy, I thought it would be fun if Sir Francis was kind of not impressed with that and like, sort of worried for his own safety and the safety of the team. And then Lily was the second one that I got. And I believe I just needed someone to be more excitable, like Jet. So it was great because you had Jet and Lily, who kind of acted more like the starter for her, because she was like, yeah, let's do the thing. And then you have Sir Francis, who's like, I don't know about this, guys. And then when Fire Dog showed up, it was just, well, I have someone who's not sure and someone who's like really happy. I might as well have someone who's stuck up all the time. It kind of just puts itself together naturally. A lot of the characterizations that I had planned going in have completely been scrapped. When I go through my notes sometimes, I have little like indications of what I kind of wanted or imagined the character should act like, and it's just, yeah, that didn't happen. Some of them did though. Like I don't know if you remember August. What are they called? Sandials. The first Sandile I caught. I knew going in that I wanted him to be a really cool sort of cowboy type dude, you know. And I actually did a lot of studying on like spaghetti westerns and cowboy slang before I wrote him. But July came about as a sort of foil to him. So he was really sure of himself, but he didn't want to be part of the team. July was completely out of her comfort zone, and she felt really insecure because she was the second Sandile and there was no point on having her. But she did want to be part of the team, and eventually she felt like, because Jet sort of treated her like an important part of the team rather than just an add-on, she slowly starts to grow confidence. Now that she's evolved into a crocodile, though, a friend of mine actually gave me the idea to make her start to go a little, not insane, but like, you know, like the whole nature versus nurture thing. Like, what if crocodiles by nature kind of are violent, like has violent tendencies, and maybe she kind of starts to develop a bit of a gladiator sort of heart. I don't know. Like, she's still a sweetie, but she definitely has started to show signs of loving battle, in a sense. So, you know, it's not going to be full blown, I don't think. But if you kind of read into the subtext in some of the later episodes, you see her sort of like, come on, I want to fight. Oh man, shucks, I wanted to take that one. And like, it's starting to bubble forth. Don't know how long it can be suppressed. Kadu says reusing flat colors is good. Feels like it helps unify the team visually. Yeah, and I wonder if sometimes it could be sort of foreshadowing, like if I use colors for something that isn't in the team one episode but then later joins, that people can like sort of visually guess, oh, is that one gonna be in? Tails fiercely takes notes. I'm curious if anyone in the chat, because I know a lot of you also write Nuzlocks, if you want to share how you've characterized a certain Pokemon or human character that you're especially think is cool. Tails says, wrong Leia! Oh my goodness, I've never thought of that. Hide the lair, Kronk! Wrong lair! Why do we even have that lair? Oh man, I love that movie so much. Tails is like, wait, you didn't write the nature or characteristics down? Okay, so no, because if you assume that you have the game to go back to, right? The nature and the characteristic are always, you can always check those. I'm not one of those who releases my Pokemon after they die. I put them in a box. so yeah, like, I thought I would be able to go back and check what those were. So I didn't bother writing them down. I also didn't write down, what was it? Was it like final level? I don't remember. No, I wrote down the final level. It was something else. I can't remember. I'm like super sad about it though. It's probably somewhere in China actually. Chico says those groups are from each individual page, correct? Yes. So each episode is made up of several pages, and each page is its own group. And I started doing it this way just because it actually makes the file size a little smaller, so my computer doesn't like crash on me. And also, if I wanted to make PDFs of this in the future, it will be much easier. Ruby didn't help. Yeah, poor July. Ruby, I love Ruby's whole characterization. Started as like, at first I think it was going to be kind of sad or what, maybe a little nurturing, because I thought maybe she would. I named her after my Pokemon Ruby version, which I had also lost. And Pokemon Ruby version, the pro tag in that one, my player character I mean, is Jet's aunt. And I didn't want to imply that her aunt's dead, but she's not in the comics, so you know, take that as you will. But yeah, she sort of ended up as just another way to play off of July's character arc. July just wanted to talk her feelings out, and then I was like, how would this Yan Mask respond? Well, what's funny? Oh, that's another thing too. Sometimes it's just a scene and it's like, what's funny? And whatever happens that's funny ends up being that character's personality. Mouse thinks that the idea of July being into fighting seems like a great idea, so she's like, do that, do that. Oh, give me a sec, guys. I think someone's here to pick up their keys. I'll be right back. Oh, hi guys. I thought I unmuted my mic, but it wasn't unmuted. Anyways, I was just talking about, so like, right there, you saw I was like going really slow fixing that bit on Sharon's shirt. I was going slow because I was using my trackpad. I wasn't anywhere near my computer at that time, or my tablet at that time. I was just sitting out in some like area in public with a group of friends or whatever, and coloring this. And yeah, so I was just trying like in vain to erase it and draw it back in with my trackpad. I decided to leave it be and do it later. But she's beauty, she's grace, she'll punch you on the face. I love that. Alright, let's catch up with the chat, shall we? Chica says, unleash the croc. Mouse says, my characterization methods are so simple on the surface, yet so extremely complicated deep down. You gotta peel back all the layers. Mouse's comic is like ogres in that sense. They stink? No! They got layers. LMAO. Whenever I put my stuff, this is Tails. Whenever I put my stuff on the wrong layer, I say that, and it's so funny, I'm not upset anymore. Hey, that's great. There should be a, you know, the that's easy button? There should be a button that you can press, and it says, wrong layer! See, I assumed I would lose my game eventually and wrote all my natures. Oh, that's so smart. See, the way I play Pokemon is I have one file and I play that forever. So I don't ever reset my game. I never, like, you know, do anything to it. It's there forever. And so I assumed I would just have it forever. I was a fool. Chico says, remind me to crop Charon's face too. Wait, what? What is that a reference to? FBI, open up. Most of my characterization for Alma, Tails speaking, so far comes from stuff I've wanted to see in a Nuz protagonist, but haven't. It's not bad, but many Nuz protags are very silly and naive, and I wanted a completely different character from that. That's a really good point, too. If you want to sort of go against the grain, so to speak, there's nothing wrong with that either. There's nothing wrong with being contrarian to what's trendy at the time. Because it can, like, most of the times people who see the same stuff over and over again are also wanting to see something new. I would actually do that more if I were actually aware of what's trendy, but half the time I'm just not. But I love seeing, like, video essays talking about movies and stuff that point out things that happen a lot. And actually, for me, sometimes I go the opposite direction. I find out what's used a lot and I try to make my own version of it so that it's like basically doing the same but also slightly different, I guess. Alma is great because she, like, she starts off right away, and you know that she's got, you know, this history. And you know, oftentimes you go in and you feel like no one knows anything in this world. It's just, we're just starting off from scratch. But Alma is like, yeah, no, I studied. I went to like Poketech or whatever. I'm working for the professor. I've got Pokemon. It's a lot of fun. Leonard says he's gotta go. Oh no, I missed it. Bye, Leonard. Sorry, I missed you. Cindy is the way he is due to his age and the fact that wanting to avoid normal Nuz tropes, I wanted a Pokemon already closely bonded to their trainer. Cindy still kind of falls into the what's it called? Sort of the fire dog type character where he's he thinks highly of himself, which isn't, again, it's not bad, but I kind of I love the dynamic where Cindy thinks that he's the trainer. It's hilarious. My stuff 789 says, I've never wrote a Nuzlocke, but whenever I make characterization, I guess I go with a stereotype and then branch out from that and slowly move away from it. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's what I was talking about earlier, where you find out the tropes that you like and use that as a starting point. And then it always gets better, you know? It never stays there if you, you know, are willing to branch out. You can certainly stay there, but it's usually not as interesting if a character doesn't change over time. Even just taking two tropes that you really like that you don't usually see together and like making them interact could create a whole new character. Oh, music is a little loud. I'm sorry. I'll turn it down. I turn it down. Sorry. Is that too low? Is that a little better? Music's trying to take over the stream. I'm fighting with myself. It's Skynet all over again. I'm so glad that show's already. Yes. Mouse says, Chet is the master of taking the tropes you see all the time and making them extremely compelling and invigorating to read, despite them not being terribly different from the cliches on the surface. And I would say there are some tropes that aren't different at all. I haven't done anything with them, but just having them, like, everyone is so different as a human that two people can take the exact same story concept and the exact same characters and go in completely different directions. I think that's the whole thing that Nuzlocks are, is everyone takes Pokemon Black or Pokemon White or Red or, you know, Ruby, Sapphire, Heart Gold, and like everyone's played these games. They're the exact same games, exact same characters. But even the ones that just tell the exact same thing are different. I feel like Kanem and Pio have done very similar stuff with their stories, in that it's almost as if it's an anime version or a manga version of the actual game, in that it's mostly just telling what the story of the game is, and yet even then it's like wildly interesting to read both. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? The stream got so quiet. Let me make sure that this goes up. See, I don't want to put the audio sound too high. Can you hear me now? Can you hear? Hello? 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 I don't want it to be too loud. Let me make the music even lower. We're having technical difficulties, but it's okay. Still sound far away even with a... Okay, let me tighten all my things. How is it sounding now, guys? How is it sounding now? The piano's very loud. I think some of these tracks might be louder than others is the problem. Not good. It doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good at all. Okay. Let me see. Does any of this sound better? If I turn the gain down, what about that? Does that sound any better? Test, test, test. Check, check. Blah, ba, bee, blue, blue, blah. Audio, are you in a jet plane? Testing, testing. Let's see. That just made you quiet. Let's see. If I make it quiet on here. A little louder. A little louder. Oh boy, I think Zero's in fact shrinking. What if I talk down here? Oh, you know what? I think this is... Hello? Hello? I think I found the issue, guys. I think I found the issue. but I'm gonna have to. Okay, is that better? Oh, sorry. That must have been worse. Is that better with the music? I put the music a little lower, audio a little higher. I'm back. Okay, sorry guys. So what was I on about? She's now the size of a ladybug. What's the issue? Do you need a tissue? I do not, actually. I have a tissue right by, just in case my nose starts to bleed. I have a drink of chocolate milk. And it looks like in the footage I've been working on trying to get some colors down for the maypole. Not really sure what colors I want them to look like, but I eventually settled on this auto color scheme. So, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I love Audino. They're my favorite Pokemon. So I decided to go with the pink and cream. Raise it just a smidge. Now there's no music. Oh, shoot. There you go. The ants go marching. The ants go marching on. The Audino. The audio color. Yeah. Also, I noticed the other day, guys, shiny Sceptile is literally just Totodile. Look it up. It looks exactly like Totodile. Those strips were made from Audino's fur. No! No! I remember your adorable Audino character with the peg leg. That's Jello! Jello embodies everything I love about the Audino species. And I've told the story many times, but basically when I first started playing Black and White, I was along with everyone else hunting Audino for the XP. Where you just run around in circles until the grass shakes and then run into there and you kill the Audino and you get a ton of XP. But then in post game of Jet's Black Nuzlocke, I was running into a patch of grass because I wanted to take the chance. That was my first encounter. I wanted to take the chance if it was an Audino or if it was a rare Pokemon, because sometimes shaking grass can be rare Pokemon. And it was an Audino, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll just kill you. And I hit it twice, and then a heal pulsed me, and I felt so bad. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that your species have been going around just healing us trainers, and we've been murdering your brethren. And I felt so bad, so I caught him. I named him Jello, and I decided that his whole thing was that he's like so nice that he would go around healing people even though he's just getting beaten up, and that's why he's like so beat up. Jello kind of acts as a like anything character, though. He exists between worlds because I never started to characterize him until around when I did PMD stuff. And in the PMD group that I was in, obviously there are no trainers, so the whole thing with the Audino like healing trainers who would use them as XP fodder didn't make sense. So I had to come up with a different reason why he was missing an eye and leg, you know. But he sort of changes personality depending on where he is too. In Duality, he was a much older, like grumpier character because the characters he was interacting with were younger and less responsible, I guess. It's having war flashbacks. Yes, that's why he has the peg leg and eye patch. He got beat up by trainers who he just wanted to help out. I mean, I can't imagine Audino aren't like all beat up after just like the genocide of their race. We do not go easy on them. They're just so good for XP. It's kind of cute in PMD though, because one of my other characters is this little kid who wanted to be a pirate, and so he bought himself an eye patch to look cool, and then he like gave it to Jello after accidentally dropping a tree on him, and as like an apology, and so that's how he got his little eye patch. I'm sorry, it's really easy to murder you. Murder all the Audino. Chico says, I think Audino likes pain because it means it can heal itself, which is probably pleasant. Ew. I don't know about that. Alright, so I think this panel needed a bit of doctoring. My friend was sitting next to me and watching me color this, and she mentioned, she's like, why are they so huge? So if you look where Jet, Charon, and Bianca are compared to the kids dancing on the maypole, they're way too big. So I tried to increase the size of the maypole dancers, but there just wasn't room, so eventually I just kind of shrunk Jet and her friends. My stuff. Wait, what? Wait, what about what? Mouse says, giants! Yeah, and like I said, because I don't have my tablet with me, I'm just doing all of this with my trackpad. So I'm just like gingerly selecting stuff and trying to redraw stuff in there. Those hot dogs had something, I tell you. Kids need to eat. They need to grow up strong. They need their nutrients. The hot dogs are probably made out of some kind of Pokemon that makes you grow tall. In a world of Pokemon where there's sentient plant life, do you think it's weird to eat plants? You know? Like, oh, these cabbages are just less sentient Pokemon. So at this point in the story, I actually had a lot of trouble keeping track of everything in terms of like characters and their motivations and what was supposed to happen next in the story. So what I did in terms of planning is I took little scraps of paper. Actually, it was just one sheet of paper and I cut it into scraps, but I drew on them little chibi heads of my characters and little like simplified version of the locations and a few plot points like meets her or catches him or fights, and I just cut them all out and I played little paper puppets on my desk with them. Just kind of, it helped me figure out like who was supposed to be where and who was supposed to know you know, about what. And yeah, like for some reason seeing it visually makes more sense in my brain. Tail says, oh yeah, you showed that on the Discord. Yeah, I posted a picture of them because I was working on the next episode and I like saw them sitting on my desk. I'm like, oh, I should share this. If you want to join in my Discord, I get a lot of like behind the scenes stuff when I think of it. I don't always think to post things, but you know, this even faster version of this time lapse will probably go on the Discord later when I get a chance to render it. You'll notice that the footage has sped up quite a bit. I decided at this point that you've seen enough coloring and I would just let it play through fast. But you can see with the speed at which it goes, it really gives me kind of, I don't know, motion sickness. So I'm sorry for anyone who is getting a little queasy from watching it, but that's what happens. I'm just jumping around from panel to panel selecting bits. I can't help it. And then later I have to jump to other pages to select color that wasn't swatched for say the background, you know, that pole. I don't have a swatch specifically for that color pink, so I had to go back to another page, eyedropper that pink, and then go back to the other page. It gets really fast. So oh boy, I'm dizzy, Chico says. Mouse says life makes a lot more sense now. Yes. Oh, so for everyone who wasn't here at the beginning of the stream, first of all, I'm not at home in my usual desk streaming this because the internet's been cut off for 4 days while we try and get better internet. So I'm here at the office, and that's why there's people running around making noise. Secondly, yes, this is footage that I cut together from last month when I was coloring this page. And I wasn't able to start recording. I didn't get the idea to start recording until after I had done all of the sketching and line art. So this is basically just the coloring and the shading is what you'll get to see, and the background. I'll get around to doing like the clouds later if you want to see that. But yeah, that's why it's kind of really fast. But I mean, you've basically seen what's happening. This is I'm still just dropping in flats. It takes a while. No, Chico, I don't work this fast. July has a little heart. Yeah, her little belly pattern. Crocodile's design is really, really weird to me. I still don't understand the Sandile line in terms of how their eyes work. But the hardest thing was to get July to still look soft while having that design. And I kind of channeled this crocodile from a picture book, the name of which I can't remember, but it was like some kind of crocodile who lived down the street or whatever, and he has this really long nose that goes down in front of his body and tiny little arms, and I really like his design, so I kind of used that on July's face, and I gave her a little heart, and the heart is colored with the same white-ish gray that that Fire Dog has on his face, and she also has the same red as Sir Francis's nose. So all three of them are kind of connected in that way. Charon's and Apple, what are Bianca and Jet? Bianca is Nuzlocke. So you know, what's its face? C Dot, the original Nuzlocke came from. I had from the beginning planned to have Bianca put on that John Locke face where it's just like this super hyper realistic ugly man face, and she just turns into Nuzlocke and says everything happens for a reason, Jet. It never ended up happening, but that's kind of what I have in mind when I draw her. Is she has that sort of acorn shaped helmet on. I think it's like a beret or something, and then she has little antennae coming up. So whenever I draw Bianca, that's the first thing that I think of is where does her hat go, and then how does her little antenna come up. I get really confused whenever Bianca doesn't have her hat on because I'm like, what is hair? That's why we need extra guest comics. Extra guest comics. I don't have time to draw extras. What are you talking about? Be even more silly series than the main comic. I'm actually in a studio, Chico. That's right. For Jet, I don't really have any sort of thing that I think of. Jet is just Jet. When I draw Jet, I usually start with her hair piece, the little bob, I guess, her bangs, maybe you can say, that come out. And then after I draw that, I draw her hat, and then from the hat I draw her little sideburns that like come over her ears, and then her ear, and then the rest of her just kind of falls into place. A lot of my characters have lost their necks. If you see them in the beginning of the series, I purposefully gave them necks because my style tends to not have them, and I'm like, I'm gonna actually draw necks on my humans, and over time they just slowly started to go away. And I actually had a great idea. You just saw me do it, but I'll do it a couple more times. I decided that since I don't have my tablet on me and I can't actually draw anything, I will just highlight a bunch, like a section, and color it this transparent red, and that'll remind me later to go back and edit it, because oh boy, I'm not gonna remember all the edits that I noticed while coloring it the first time. Mouse says necks are evil. They keep my head warm though. I see a lot of people do it. Wait, hold on. Tails, okay, so Chico mentioned earlier silly extras and guest comics. Tails says, oh my gosh, I have so many extra comics I want to draw. Chico says, since you have a website, you should put guest comics there. On my website, I have a section for fan art. So if anyone did do guest comics, I could add it to that section. And then as for, you know, just actual canon guest comics, I have not found anyone who would be willing to do episodes as long as mine. But I'm not gonna say some crossovers may not happen. I just haven't found anyone or had the time or energy to coordinate such a thing. I'm really far into Endgame, guys. It's hard to like find time to do like silly stuff anymore. In fact, I felt really sad in a sense posting this episode, because I felt like this is going to be the last time that these kids are going to get to just have fun. My babies are going to war. Tail says, yeah, you should advertise the fan art section more. I should. I should, you know, my whole website needs a overhaul. Right now it's functional, and that's good enough for me. But if I had time, I would definitely want a complete overhaul of everything. Have a front page that had sections, like big buttons that you can click. I've been posting the links page all over the place. If you guys don't know, the JessBlackNuzlocke.com has JessBlackNuzlocke.com. It's not going to turn into a hyperlink probably, but if you like copy paste that, if it has a link section at the end, and those are just really good comics that everyone should read. And I put them in order from the first one, I think, is the original Nuzlocke. And that's just to be, you know, give homage to where it all started. And going down from there, I think it's like the two that I read first. And then from there, it was, it's like ones that I really, really recommend. And then after that, it's just a random anything go. Basically, when I think it sort of makes sense for you to read something, I put it on. But lately, I just read a really good run. It's called For Victory. It's a Pokemon White comic, I believe. and it is so good. Everyone should read it. It doesn't take long. I read it all in 2 days, a few hours, and it is so funny. It's like the humor is like classic Nuzlocke stuff. Classic humor. I love it so much. Sometimes I think my comic takes itself too seriously. Taylor says, no necks, we turn our heads like men, like Batman. The whole body turns. They just rotate the whole body if you want to turn. You need to advertise. I just finding out. Usually people use guest comics in place of an update. I'm curious what made you want to give Jet the male pro tags clothes. Oh, here's a good question. My stuff says, I'm curious, what made you want to give Jet the male pro tags clothes rather than the females? Though I'm guessing that's because it fits her character more. Honestly, I like the outfit more. I would wear that, and I wouldn't wear the female one, just because I've never in my life worn shorts or, you know, anything above my knees. So it's just a personal thing. She also looks warmer. I like the what is it, a jumper? Like a hoodie sort of thing. I like it better. It took me, I think, a day and a half to decide if I was a boy or a girl when I played Oraz, and I finally decided on girl. I'm still deciding for Gallus, the Gen 8. Shoot, guys. The Scottish girl is so cute. I love that she's so rude in everyone's headcanon. But I've seen a couple of comics of the polite English lad, I think people have been calling him, and he's not that bad either. He's got a really cool backpack. It's like just a trunk. He just slaps a trunk on his back and is like, let's go. You could post a SWF with the guest comics in the middle of the month or so. SWF, Swift, Saturday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't know. Mouse bursts in. Mouse, what are you bursting in with? Chico says, also when I say crop so-and-so's face, I mean for the Discord icons or just for memes. Oh, yeah. I could just crop faces from the comic, couldn't I? I hadn't thought of that. Tail says, IDK, I think your comic does a great job balancing humor and serious tones. Oh, thank you. I try to do it. There's sometimes when I throw in humor just because I feel like it's getting too serious. But then other times I can't. It just has to be serious. I can't do anything about it. It feels so weird to hear that someone has never worn shorts before, but I have to remember not everyone lives in the desert. That's right. Okay, so I'm obviously exaggerating. I've worn shorts to the beach when there's sand everywhere, and I know I'm gonna take them off so that I can reveal my swimsuit. I wear shorts to the beach. I wear shorts to the pool, but I never feel comfortable in them. And it's always like just one step up from just walking around in a towel, you know? That's what a shorts is for me. Who's the ginger trainer? That's Sin from Deadly Sins. You should read her comic because it's very short so far. It hasn't gotten very far, but the style is really fun. I really like the way she draws eyes. Setter, no idea you put Setter the Mudkip. I am loving that comic. Yeah. She's got her little freckles. It's hard to see though. And you noticed earlier I actually colored red and blue from Kedu's Nuzlocke in all gray, because I thought it would be funny if, since it was a black and white comic, that they were just wearing gray. But having both of them on screen in coordinating grayscale outfits seemed a little weird to me. But I mean, I looking back on it, I think it still would have worked. I feel like it would have worked. I eventually did color Red's shirt and Blue's shirt. It's Deadly Sins and finding your roots is where Setter the mudkip comes from, and Deadly Sins is where that ginger girl comes in. And what's it called? Kuru, something like that. If you look up Kadu, that's the girl who's throwing the frisbee, and the Gary who's reading the book. And also, if you actually take a look at the this episode on DeviantArt, on my website, where else? Where else? I think on the Discord also. Yeah. I have included a link to everyone who's cameoed. Oh, look, I've started working on the clouds. Tails, and Mouse, and Chico, and Leonard. Oh, Leonard left. But everyone who's a patron, don't let me forget to drop this cloud brush in the Patreon later, in the Discord, because I went out to look for what this brush is, and it turns out the guy who made the brush isn't offering it anymore. It was for free, and now it's just not anywhere to be found. And since it's not anywhere to be found and it was free, I don't suppose he would mind if I shared it. It's very useful. It's certainly not the only cloud brush I've used, but since I used it exclusively for this episode, I figured I'd just give you all a share. Karuki. That pose when she looks at Jess reminds me of Mokapon so much. I need to look up what Mokapon is. Mokapon. I feel like I've heard it before, actually, but I haven't read that one. Sorry, I skipped a few chat stuff, so I'm just scrolling back up. Polite English lad works best when working off the rude Scottish lass. Yeah, that's true. I like their dichotomy. One of my favorite images is rude Scottish lass playing the bagpipes really loud, and the poor lad just like covering his ears. Ooh, 97 degrees in March. You get used to shorts or you die. Guess I'll die then. Humble Mouse. 'Tis I. Yes, Mouse is here. Everyone here has awesome work. The clouds remind me of the first Poke movie. Ooh, when Mewtwo is like swirling his hands around. Oh! Should have added Mewtwo there as a bonus, Chico says. That would have been so funny. Okay, one of my favorite lines in all of cinema is when Mewtwo first wakes up and he opens his eyes. He's like, there are voices on the outside where I should be. And then he cracks the glass. And that line just, it gives me chills to this day. But the scene that I always remember in my memory from childhood is his hand just coming up and then like just slowly circling in a small circular motions, and the clouds starting to swirl around. And oh man, I remember like sitting in the car as my parents are driving and like doing that with my hands, just imitating it. It's so cool. I can't believe they're remaking it in CGI. I'm just so upset. It was so good. Just Black Nuzlocke exists in the Pokeaniverse. Confirmed. Yeah, Mewtwo just shows up and it's like I'm causing a storm. That's what's that called? The pathetic fallacy, where the weather matches what's happening in the story. In a sense, there is a reason why storm clouds are coming in. And this is a big festival, so there's no way these folks didn't check the weather beforehand when they planned it. These clouds are not expected. I'm foreshadowing if you can't tell, and I hope it turns out, because sometimes I have things planned and then I can't end up drawing them because it's too hard. And the way that I do backgrounds is oftentimes I'll start drawing in the sky and then I'll realize that the background is really, really blank, and so I'll just draw in what I think would be in the background at that moment. And I always hear, I don't know if you guys know Eworm, who does Yonkoma, but I see his like comment in my head where he said one time, wow, what happened to the backgrounds? There's like no backgrounds. And I was like, oh, you're right, I'm just lazy. So whenever you see backgrounds, it's because I'm like, oh no, Eworm's gonna be upset with me if I don't put backgrounds in. And it's like, it really does look better when you kind of ground the characters. The way that I'm like kind of adding in the clouds though, I'm trying to sort of keep a continuity in a sense, but more important than continuity is making sure that the characters in the foreground read properly. So like if a face is there, I don't want to put a whole bunch of dark gray clouds because, you know, it'll just kind of wash it out. With the light behind it and the gray parts sort of circling around, it helps to draw your attention to the right place. People often forget that clouds are actually solid. They have mass and they cast a shadow. So the light parts are where the light's shining through from the back, where the sun is, and then the gray parts are shadows that are cast from it blocking the sun. I'm just fixing up the word bubbles here, grounding the characters in, putting in some clouds. It's pretty quick stuff. My stuff says the clouds are gorgeous. Well, thank you. Yeah, you know, sometimes it feels like cheating when I just use a brush, but it doesn't make clouds for you in the sense that you just like, you know, do whatever you want. You still have to kind of keep in mind the idea, the physics behind it. Sometimes I wonder if I should go a little more stylized with the background elements. When I go back to the older episodes, I noticed that the clouds were just splotches and they didn't look good, but it seemed to fit a little better with the characters. It's kind of weird if you go too hyper realistic with some background elements and then your characters are just flat cartoons. Why didn't you go with a black and white comic for a black and white Nuzlocke? Don't call me out like this, Chico. I don't know. Honestly, it might not even have crossed my mind to go black and white, but oftentimes I kick myself. I'm like, why didn't I just go black and white? I just there are times when I've wondered if I can skip like shading, if I can skip flats, if I can skip you know, this, that, and the other thing, and it just loses too much from what I want it to look like. Even with the shading, it seems so inconsequential, but without it, the characters just don't really feel like they're in the scene. Because full color, best color. Skip Flash characters are all translucent. Yeah, right. When I post the sketch versus the line art on the Patreon, I take out all the colors so you can see what it looks like with just the line art, and it looks kind of funny with just line art and the shading. For my Duality comic, if any of you remember Duality, I went with black and white completely. I tried to keep even gradients down to a minimum. In fact, I think I used what are they called? Screen tones for the gradients instead. Chica likes the Pokemon Go style for the movie remake. If you can have acquired tastes in visual media, I think it's an acquired taste. I personally still prefer the old anime style. I'd love to see a fight in the Dragon Tower while it's winter. Oh man, that would be so cool. Yeah, those clouds are not supposed to be there, but gathering anyway. Big fear. The clouds are gorgeous. Hope to get better at drawing clouds one day. Why didn't you go with a black and white? Because full color, best color. Skip flats. Characters are all translucent. The clouds in these panels are sort of realistic compared to your cartoony style, but I thought that was part of the point. These clouds are not supposed to be there, so the art itself reflects that. Yeah, that's the point. I completely did that intentionally. Thank you for pointing it out, Tails. You took the words right out of my mouth. Old anime will always be the best, says the Gen 1er. Hey, we do not use slurs here. Oh, bye, my stuff. Thanks for coming. It was great having you. Zero, you're so good at planning. I am the best at planning, excuse you. I'm actually still unsettled on names for my Gen 8 character, whoever I choose. I feel like I'm an expectant mother because I know that this child is coming and I have to give it a name, and yet it's not here yet, and so I'm like putting it off, and I'm just like going through baby name sites going like, well, if it's a boy I guess I'll name it this, and if it's a girl I'll name it that. Oh, but you know, maybe this or that. It's hilarious. But I don't want to sit with the game on the name screen for an hour like last time trying to think of a name. I have to do it now or I'll never get around to playing it. It's just an interesting stuff. I was thinking maybe because I was driving the other day and I noticed my my automatic car's shift gear thing. It's not a shift gear because it's an automatic, but you know, the thing that has the numbers, and it reminded me of I forget what it's called. I think it's iCarly or maybe another it was like a Disney Channel show where this girl named London was like, oh, the Perndle, and the guy teaching her how to drive got really angry, and I'm like, oh, London's a cute name, right? I don't know, but it just doesn't seem like a Scottish last name. It's not rude enough. Though London was pretty rude. Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Was that where she's from? Oh, I don't remember it at all. But I loved her. The Perndle. Yeah, she's like my favorite character. She's my absolute favorite character from any Disney Channel original series. Tails, I'm choosing the girl, and at the moment planning on naming her Artemis after the great huntress. Oh, that's a good one. Artemis. And she has art in the name. And Miss. She's Miss Art. Artemis. There's also a name that's like you basically just pronounce it Ashley, but it's spelled with like a EIGH in the middle. So that might be an interesting one. Jet is Miss Art. Aw. There's also this guy on DeviantArt who made a picture once, and it was called Maiden Flash, because it was made in Flash, but it was like a Flash Gajinka or something, and her name was Maiden Flash. And I also always hear Maiden Abyss instead of Made in Abyss. So it's a funny word. And me and Jet are it. Oh, Mouse, there are two kinds of people, me and Jet. Yeah, I'm so right. Sad right. Oh no, Mouse, why are you so sad right now? Trying to draw and falling asleep. Mouse, wake up! I'm sorry, my sultry voice is casting the sleep spell on you. Ooh. What are you working on, Mouse? That kind of brings up another point that I wanted to make tonight. So after we go through this stuff, I wanted to draw, as I always do, at the end of the stream. But my friend was talking to me about the stream the other day, and he said that it would be fun if everyone would draw along with me at the end, because it's kind of a challenge that I don't have planned. It takes not that much time, and it's a lot of fun, and I thought that was a great idea, because if you guys wanted to, you can do the challenge with me, and then we can all kind of hashtag it somewhere, and then the next stream I can kind of do a showcase of the stuff from the last stream. Let me know what you guys think about that, if you want to be part of that, or what kind of hashtag we should use, because I don't really know how to receive art from you guys. If Chico and Tails and Mouse all posts on 3 different websites, I'm never going to find them all. So yeah, let me know. I think it would be a lot of fun. I just looked up for a second. I noticed that I'm working on shadows right now. And, shadows is where I kind of put the least amount of effort, I think. It's literally just throwing in a shadow on the underneath wherever I think would help sort of define features. If 2 things are the same color next to each other and I want one to stand out a little more, I might put a shadow on it. The whites are definitely an important place to put shadows. But other than that, I use a solid black. The shadow layer is on a 40% opacity, and unless they're in like Chargestone Cave, which has ambient lighting, or unless there's some kind of effect going on, I literally just throw shadows arbitrarily. They very rarely even like conform to the lighting situation. I think the most I will do is if there's clearly a directional light, I will do like rim lighting, or if I want the camera to look like it's slightly below a character, I'll do some rim lighting, because it's like if the sun is shining down, then obviously it would be casting shadow underneath. But I'll even throw rim lighting in for like dramatic effect when it wouldn't happen. Shadow for me is just kind of there for effect. It's a sleepy sort of Monday. Yes, it is. Mouse says I'm working on my new comic. Your new comic? Your new comic? Not one of your current comics? Are you sure about that, Mouse? Don't you lead me on like that. So many panels. Long pages. Oh, man. Chico says he'll send his art by physical mail. The hashtag will be written in the box. It is a new comic, Mouse. I thought you were going to finish one of your current comics before you started on that. But anyone who's on the Discord can certainly just drop it in the show and tell. And if it gets a little messy, maybe I can make a new thread channel for it. But for now, I don't want too many channels in the Discord because I personally get confused sometimes and channels will go unused. So until the need arises, let's just drop in the show and tell. And that way people who aren't like higher tier patrons can also like sort of pitch in, because I made the show and tell channel open to any level patron. Oh, I should probably drop a Patreon link. I'm good at self-promotion, guys. Hopefully it doesn't kill the stream with lag. Did you open your Discord to the public? No, I didn't. But like lower tier patrons can sometimes not access certain channels. The lowest tier to get into the Discord, I think, is $1. So it's very affordable to anyone who has expendable income. Jet, you planned that self-promotion like you planned those clouds, LMAO. Just perfectly, without flaw. Just like how I planned going this entire stream of talking without bringing any water with me. Chico says, can my original character, don't steal, be in your comic? Yeah, Mouse, can we just put our original characters in each other's comics and just I don't know. You know, with cameos, it's always a question of how much to cameo. Because in the past, I've been kind of embarrassed to tell people, hey, I cameoed you. Because they'll literally be like a speck in the background. Like just a smidgen of a speck. But this latest cameo binge that I went on was like, I'm going to drop it like it's hot. The next time I may need cameos is in Opelucid City. I don't know if I'm going to end up doing any, but if I decide to do any crowd scenes, because that's a pretty big city, I think, I may need more cameos for that. Mouse says, no original characters in my comic, only unoriginal characters. I don't think I'm gonna finish the first episode today. I'm just so tired. That's okay, Mouse. You need a rest. You don't want to overwork yourself. Especially you. I don't think, everyone please send me cameos so I don't have to design background characters. I know, right? Just fill out my background. I think I included Red and Link in one of my cameos, like in Driftvale. I'm in several of them. I sometimes drop, Zero the Red Wolf. And just random people. Often my cameos are non-cameos in that, like, they're literally just for me. Oh, I think I dropped like Natsu from Fairy Tail one time because I was watching Fairy Tail at the time. I'm so upset, you guys. I'm like I'm like emotionally distressed because yesterday I had no internet, and the only way I could entertain myself was to like pull up old video files that I had completely not illegally stolen from the internet. And I noticed that I had 2 episodes from Fairy Tale that I had downloaded, and I'm like, oh, I remember these. Anyone who's watched Fairy Tale, it's when Lucy gets Leo the lion. For anyone who doesn't watch Fairy Tale, that probably doesn't mean anything, and that's good. But it is so good. I don't know why it got so bad in the end. There was so much potential for this series. And I'm like, all day I've just been ho-humming and sighing because I'm like legitimately upset about this. Oh. Chico says, I have to reread the Castelia part. How did you handle that city? I had recently gone to New York, I think. So I kind of channeled that feeling of walking around the city. And even if I hadn't just been to New York, which, you know, it's been a while, so I don't remember where I was in that time of my life. But I had gone to New York several times on art trips. So I kind of channeled that feeling of going into galleries, of eating pizza, seeing the monuments and stuff. And I think the background characters are mostly faceless in that one. Yeah. Or just random characters. If you strategically place the scene, you don't have to draw any backgrounds. Chico says Homer Simpson, the trainer. I don't know how Homer Simpson sounds. The trainer. Oh, he sounds like Genie, doesn't he? First art I ever posted on DA was about FT. Remind me again what that stands for? I'm really bad at remembering names, guys. I'm sorry. Just because a friend liked that anime again. Oh, Fairy Tale. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Tail says, rip to all the shows that had great potential but horrible execution. But it had good execution too. It was just later on it got really bad. Like, what do you call that? It was so good for a while. There, like, even lines of dialogue made me just so good. And I feel like there's still you know, good stuff that could have happened. It's just it got really gross and weird later. Seasonal rot. That's probably it. And I can also imagine they either changed studios or lost a lot of budget because the animation quality took a huge nosedive later on. I stuck around with Fairy Tail a lot longer than I really should have, just in the hopes that it would get better. It didn't get better. I kind of stopped finally. I knew if I did stop, I wouldn't go back to it, and it's true. It's what happened. Chico noticed the little Carablast. Yes. Carablast is a weird name for that Pokemon. I don't know what the etymology is, but it does not look like a Carablast. The curse. That's a good way to say it. Let's see, what else did I watch yesterday? I watched some episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho that I had saved. My favorite character in Yu Yu Hakusho is Kurama, and so I downloaded I think it took 3 episodes in the Dark Tournament where he like fights, and then I think 1 or 2 episodes in the last season where he gets to fight. And so I watched those. And I also watched Marion Max, which if you haven't seen it, you should give it a watch. It's a great stop motion movie that's it's a little immature. So if you're not into dark humor or gross kind of it's not gross out humor, but it's kind of like it can be a little tasteless, I guess, to some people. I think it's fine. But the voice acting is really, really good. And it's one of my favorites to just put on in the background and listen to. Because it's you don't have to watch it. It's mostly just dialogue. It's almost like a storybook. Chico says, did they release the OVA for Yu Yu? Which one? There's 2 movies, I believe. And I don't know which OVA you're talking about. Chico, do you really like Carablast? Is that like your favorite Pokemon? What's everyone's favorite Pokemon? Let me know. Mine is Audino. Mouse says, I love how Zero very carefully has all Unovian Pokemon in her Unova comic in this scene. Except I have a Mudkip and a Pidgey. Mouse, did you forget about the Mudkip and the Pidgey that are just randomly... Oh, and the Cyndaquil? I really wanted to try and keep it all Unova, but there are some other generation Pokemon in my comic. I think the first one that showed up was a Ladybug. What's it called? A Ladybug? In the Dream Yard. And someone was like, there are no Ladybug in the Dream Yard. And I'm like, yes, there is. After the post game, they are a outbreak Pokemon. I did my research. You know, more than doing background people, I love doing background Pokemon because it's as simple as just pulling up Bulbapedia and saying like, oh, what Pokemon are found in the area? Well, let's draw this guy. And it's a lot of fun because there's some Pokemon that I either didn't catch or just don't really like, so I just never draw them. And when you draw some Pokemon, sometimes you just realize, hey, I really like this Pokemon. Of course, Tails loves Espeon. We all knew that, but Espeon's a great Pokemon. I personally really like Jolteon, I think is my favorite Eeveelution. When I was a kid, I really liked Eevee, just plain old Eevee. But I think I was being a hipster back then. I'm like, oh, I wanna keep my Eevee. At Mouse from Tails, whenever I wax on sadly about shows that should have been excellent, SU is top of the list. SU is definitely one that had potential, but a lot of people fell off of, and I think that's why a lot of people hate it so much, is because it started off great. What's another one? SU, FT is the one that really makes me unhappy. Like, I get distressed when I think about that one going downhill, and I think part of it is because the person who draws the manga for it did Rave Master, and Rave Master got a really bad anime adaptation, but I read the manga and I love Rave Master manga. Bianca emoji detected. Shoot, guys, I should make some emoji just from the comic. Tail says, big same, Jet. I never evolved my Eevee in any Kanto run through. Eevee is so cute. He is. And I had a little kind of like a magazine issue Pokemon manga thing, which wasn't really Pokemon Adventure, I don't think. It was something different. But it had the cutest Eevee. It was like basically telling the story of the brothers who wanted their little brother to to evolve their Eevee. But it was all like weird styled. I wonder if I still have it. It must be somewhere. Tails is so afraid of her first big crowd scene. Go easy on yourself for the first few, Tails. If you look at my earlier scenes, they're very crude crowd scenes. If I even drew any crowds. I think in Castelia City, if you reread Castelia, certain scenes, like when Bianca's crying about her Mooney getting captured, it's literally just like gray shapes, humanoid gray shapes. All Alolan forms go. Mouse, I haven't caught up with your comic yet, actually. And I'm to save face on my end, I'm gonna say it's because I don't like reading comics on the Nuzlocke forum. And usually you like link to that, but I have I have your Smack Jeeves page pulled up in a tab. And yeah, I'm waiting to finish my comic because I'm running dangerously low on time, you guys. I'm gonna finish my comic first, and I'm gonna catch up with yours. I still haven't read No Gods, No Masters, which is next on my list as well. I think Big Dingo also updated once, and I haven't read her latest episode. I've been keeping up with Kadu because her episodes are so short. I can like spare the time. But I'm so excited to read on in Mouse because Mouse Fire like has I've seen screenshots. Because people sometimes share screenshots, and I've seen images, and I'm like really excited because it looks like a lot of. It's like, have you ever played a game that's kind of open world, like a Zelda game, let's say, and you just know that there's gonna be this new environment for you to explore, and that's how I feel right now at the edge of this new town that Setter is about to go into. Cedar? Is it Cedar or Setter? But like, I just keep getting distracted by other stuff. Jolteon is Pokemon's response to Sonic. Oh my goodness. Okay, my comic is on Smack Juice. How far behind are you? Right before she enters the new town, I think. I think I commented on the last one that I read of yours. I just haven't, like, sat down to read it. Yeah, I got to the end where you said, like, world building coming up next. I'm like, oh boy. I think I saw the other one. And it's Cedar. It's Cedar. Cedar, Pine, Aspen. See, my problem is I keep making jokes about calling her Cheddar, but then it makes me use the short S sound. So I'm like, Setter? If it's Cheater, then it's Cedar. Mouse says my comic, Where the Public Is At, is about to get very exciting for the next month or so. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. April is going to be a whole month of crazy for FYR. And I am very excited for April. Tail says, oh, what tree do we think the new professor will be based on? Mouse, I'm so excited. No joke comic this year. April Fool's is my favorite holiday as a creator, but I didn't really plan for anything this year. Luckily, we will be getting something, but it's not gonna be something that I planned. just because I didn't have the time and or the energy. Like I'm serious, guys. I still haven't finished drawing all the line art for the next episode. Something's gonna happen on the 1st, and then I'll post the actual episode on the 2nd. I don't even know what's happening on the 1st, you guys. It's gonna be fun for everyone. April Fool's Day is coming up. What are y'all gonna plan to do on April 1st? Is anyone else, and you don't have to say it if you don't want to, because I know the part of it is the big surprise. But if it's like, you know, cool to share, maybe even if you're planning on anything. I'm gonna try and actually talk into my mic, because I keep forgetting that the Blue Yeti actually, you need to talk to the side and not to the top, and I'm literally like leaning over the mic. So hopefully this sounds a little better. I kind of sat down a little bit. I'm so short I can't see over the mic. Tails says I didn't even realize it was coming. No, Tails. It's okay. You're still in the opening scenes. Tails, I can't believe you're like 40 pages in and it feels like your comic just started. 'Cause it's like you've got 2 Pokemon. Granted, I don't think I can do much with where I am in my comic. Yeah, you have plenty of time. Plan ahead. You know, one thing that I've always wanted to do, and I don't think I would have time to do it, maybe as a after comic is finished kind of thing, but I've always wanted to do a Christmas update where my characters all play parts of the Christmas Carol. I think that would be a lot of fun. Christmas Carol. No, Tails, don't be sorry. It's not a problem at all. I'm just saying that, like, you're not expected to do anything for April Fool's yet. It's completely good. No, like, especially with the length of your updates, since they're more like manga pages, you know, 40 isn't actually a lot. Like, one volume of manga is what, like 80 some pages? Like 70 to 80. So you're good, as far as I'm concerned. We've already gotten a lot of characterization, so what you need to focus on is like making sure that people relate to your characters, and then you can start having weird stuff happen later for April Fools. I really hope that Pio does something for April Fools. I love her April Fools stuff, but everyone seems to do Hamilton, and I haven't seen Hamilton. I don't know any of the songs when they start singing. Oh, I super want to do like a song. You know, I'm at the perfect place right now to do a musical number, and I'm very upset that I just don't have the time for it. I don't have the time to do a full-blown musical and an update, so you'll just have to wait. My dreams will just have to be dreams. Step by step is out of the starting town. I guess that makes sense. I still wish I could upload faster. Your upload schedule is very good, Tails. Once a week is way more than I ever did when I was working on this, let me tell you. I mean, I used to run on a 2 episodes a year schedule. Even with the length of my episodes, that is not that is not a good update rate at all. Mouse says, I want to make PMVs for fire. PMVs. Is that like AMVs? Pokemon music videos? I've never made an AMV or any kind of MV before. Editing footage like that seems tedious. Oh, this panel is my favorite one when it comes to the background. Oh, it looks like I'm not gonna do it yet. But the cloud formation that I did for their pose is really cool. It's like an AMV, but all pictured. Not quite animated. Oh, picture music video. If you guys have never seen Hi, I'm Daisy's hyperdub, that's Hi, I'm Daisy, Metal Gear Solid hyperdub, you should check it out. They basically took her comic and quote unquote animated it with full voice acting, sound effects, and like a soundtrack. The soundtrack's probably just from the game, honestly, but it's still there. It's really good. I don't even care about Metal Gear Solid, but it made me care. Like I am into the characters now that I've watched those. But they're really good. I should have listened to that yesterday. I'll listen to it tomorrow. I have time. It's really good. It's really good. Yeah, did you finish it, Mouse? Did you finish the PMV? Step by step is only out of the starting town because I didn't actually start there, LOL. If I can make it till June with constant updates, I'll have done a full year of constant updates. Yay! That's such a what's it called? An achievement. Man, if life had like achievements, we need to celebrate achievements more, just for our own little what's it called? You know, like to congratulate ourselves, like birthdays are basically like our our own little made up achievement. What other creature like keeps track of when they were born and remembers it the next time? I mean, first of all, you would have to have a concept of time, I suppose, and a way to track it. One of my favorite things to do with animal stories is to mark time by winters. So you would mark days by suns, because every time you see the sun come back, it would be a day. You would mark months by moons, because when the moon changes completely, you know that about a month has passed. So if that even matters. I wouldn't assume they would need to know how long a week is, because that's kind of an arbitrary amount of time. But I can think about it. But then a year would be a winter, because if you survive a winter, then you're alive for another year. You're ready to move on. That would only work in areas that had, like, you know, 4 seasons. I guess it wouldn't quite make sense if you lived in, like, say, I don't know, what's like Florida? Do they get winter? I don't know. Near the equator. I've never finished a PMV, Mouse says. Aww, cringy face. But yeah. What music was it set to, by the way? I'm curious. One of the best AMVs that I've ever seen, it was a Princess Tutu one. I think the music's called Hold Me, but I'm not sure. Man, I need to rewatch that one too. It's been so long. Tail says, with things like that, I'd always like to imagine they celebrate birthdays, but more like, let's celebrate everyone born in winter at one celebration. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, but then wouldn't everyone be celebrating in the spring? Because, like, animals tend to have mating seasons. I know not all animals have mating seasons, but it would just be like, oh, it's the season in which all of us were born. Yeah, Tails, you know the one I'm talking about. It's 10 years old. Falls out of chair. I can't believe it. That was a really good one. And there's footage in that AMV that I don't remember seeing in the actual show. And I don't know if I'm just hallucinating, but I watched that show at least twice. Princess Tutu was a really good anime, and I really like the dub, except for Muto. Like, the only character that I hate the voice for is the most important character. Like, everyone talks about him. He's like the focus of everyone's attention. And I can't listen to that guy. But I love that her name is just Duck. Like, you don't get the same sense that it's funny in Japanese, because her name in Japanese just means duck, but it also just sounds like Japanese to me. So it's like, oh, it's just a Japanese word. It could be a name. But to just call her Duck is like, quack. Tail says 0. Diamond and Pearl came out 13 years ago. Tails, don't. That's like, Diamond and Pearl are teenagers now. Oh my goodness. They're as old as my brother. ...2006 doesn't seem like a long time ago. Whenever I see 2000 something, I'm like, oh, recent. Because I was born in 1991. So, like, anything with 19 on it is like, oh, that's ancient news. Anything with 2000 is like, oh, recent. And then I forget there's like a whole decade between then and now. There's more than a decade between then and now. Oh my goodness. I'm sure this is riveting footage, you guys. Just me shading grass. Oh, you got them all cut? Is that all of them? Okay. You want to leave some for me to do tomorrow? Oh, you need that for tomorrow? Oh, okay. It's not like for later. What are you going to do with the rest? Oh. Don't forget your buttons. Do you need those? Chico says, oh, I need to take a seat. Oh, I'm already in a seat. I'm going to lie down on the ground and cry then. Oh, yeah. I have the perfect gift for that. I'll drop it in the Discord later. Just the Dunyan gift. Sorry, GIF. Can I join you, Chico? Let's all join Chico on the floor. Josh, we just found out that Pokemon Diamond and Pearl came out 13 years ago.
Today?
Well, not today, but like in terms of how old it is. And we're all feeling old.
Nostalgia train.
I know, right?
Huge.
I'm like, oh, Generation 4, one of the newer gens. We could all do yoga. Yeah, that's what happens when you get old. You need to do yoga to stay young and vigorous. Cedar harassing Red is good. Cedar and this random dog just wanting to play, and Red going, no, Pokemon, I don't want to touch. Tail says, hello, fellow old person in the background. Oh. Where? Hello, hello. Oh, man. This is the guy who got me to join Twitch the first time. I wouldn't be streaming if not for you.
You're welcome.
What do you go as online?
I go as Joshua Beta.
Joshua Beta on Twitch.
Long before the negative thing of what a beta was.
Oh, really?
I've had that since I was probably like 12.
I didn't even know there was a negative thing for bacon. Shoot.
Goodbye.
Oh, man. Have a good trip. Be safe.
You all the best.
How long's the flight?
Oh, we're going to Vegas.
So, like, 5 hours? I don't know. I don't have a sense of time. Have fun. Oh, you want another one? Take one for the road. Take two or however you want. I can't eat all those donuts. I brought donuts for lunch and dinner today, and my friend's like, shoot, you can't just eat donuts and ramen. So he got me a sandwich. Thank you, Josh. Bye. We're all old here. Oh, yes, just us old folks reminiscing about the 4th generation games. I remember back when, shoot, I'm so old I can't remember. But yeah, Chico says, I'm suddenly surrounded by cats. Chico, do you have cats? Mouse says, I wish to decree something. On a scale of 1 to 10, Jet's comic is a 12. Aw, golly, shucks, gee whiz. Are you saying I'm off the charts? Oh, look, I'm putting the comic together. So I almost missed it, but this is basically how I string together the comics. And if you see how slow it's moving, this is, I think I put this one in as real time, but every time I click the up button to move it up, it takes forever just to bump up. And then I think it's option or command click on the layer to deselect one, and then I grab the rest of them. All the layer groups that are selected right now are being moved down, and then excuse me, I bump it up slightly so that it's just touching the one above it. Before I do this part, I have to downsize the episode to 72 pixels per inch. That's the resolution, and I make the width 700. So at this point, when it's all together in a long strip, the postable form, it's already been downsized. So if I want to make changes, I have to go back to the original full scale version, make the changes, and then do all of this again. So sometimes I'm too lazy to do that, and I just make the changes in the long form. And which means if I go back to make PDFs of everything from the original, I'm gonna have to like meticulously go through and make sure that everything's the same. That's why it takes me so long to do to edit typos. So if you've seen a typo and you've pointed it out, and I've been like, oh man, I should edit that, and like 3 months later you see the typo still there, that's why. I'm too lazy to go back and change it in the original form. You'll also notice I had to extend the canvas as blue because when I work on these, I often color the background blue, and that's on its own, separate from all the groups. And if I expanded it white, then it would look really weird because where the background color is supposed to show through, it ends up not. But I like doing it that way because then it helps me draw in color in the whites. If it was just white on white, I wouldn't know where to put white in. And then after all of that, I make a layer on top of everything, and I just draw in what's it called, panel lines for in between. And I actually like using the pencil tool for that because the brush tool that I use make little pixel stuff fall off, and it's not clean. The pencil tool will make clean pixel lines. But yeah, I do save a version like this with all the layers. When I post it, obviously I flatten all the layers. So that's, I basically have this comic saved 4 different times. I have the original full size version where they're still on in little page sizes. Then I have a strip version where it's like this, but still with the layers. And when it's like this, it has to be downsized because otherwise the file size is too big to save. After I do that, I have another version that I save as a PNG, and that one is flattened and ready to post online. And then I have a 4th version that I post to the Patreon, and that one has the sketch saved next to it so that people can see the difference, what happened between the sketch and the line, the line art and all that. DPI is kind of arbitrary. PPI is the thing that you should be worried about. And DPI, PPI works. It's actually pretty important, Chico, if you work in printing. So PPI stands for pixels per inch. That's how many pixels are displayed within an inch of your image. And that's why I work primarily in physical sizes. I like to say 7 inches by like 11 inches instead of saying 300 pixels by 128 pixels or whatever. It just kind of makes more sense to me. And then when I post, then I work in pixel dimensions because then you're talking about pixels. Everything online is displayed as 72 pixels per inch. That's PPI. 72 PPI is what the web and what your screen that you're looking at right now, any screen device displays images at 72. So at 72, your image will look great on the computer. However, 72 pixels per inch is too small to print. So if you take a 72 PPI image and print it, it's going to look either blurry or pixelated because your resolution isn't high enough. 150 to about 450 is a good range to be in when you're printing. 300 is the pixels resolution that people usually throw out. If you go to a print shop, they'll probably say, we need your image to be 300 pixels per inch. 300 is an imaginary number. It doesn't correlate to anything. It's just large enough that you can scale your image up, and when it goes down, it doesn't look bad, but it's also low enough that it doesn't take up enormous amounts of space. Anything over 450 pixels is a little overboard. You probably will be saving stuff at 600 to 1200 pixels if you want to increase the size a lot. If you're resizing, make sure that you're not resampling, because resampling will cause the image quality to go down sometimes. Mao says, I think I'm gonna go for the night. I'm so very tired, need to sleep. Good night, Jet. Thank you for the stream. Good night, Mouse. Sorry you couldn't stay for the end. We're almost done here, but yeah, it's pretty late. But thank you for coming. I'm really glad you could stay for so long. It's always a good time to talk. Chico says, size of the pixels varies depending on the monitor. Pixels don't mean anything in printing. You sure? I printed a painting of my 72. It looked great. Well, looking great is arbitrary. So yeah, PPI doesn't mean anything in printing because it's pixels per inch. DPI does matter though, and DPI usually correlates to pixels. So the DPI is dots per inch, and if you're printing DPI, you want to make sure that it's matching whatever the dot output is on your printer if you're printing on an inkjet. So basically what I'm saying is when I went to Vistaprint to print my banner, which I needed for an artist alley, they told me to downsize my file to 72 pixels because they said it's too big. And I told them that I knew what I was talking about and I needed it to be high quality, and they said it'll be fine. So I did what they said. I downsized it, and when I got it back, all of my crisp lines had turned blurry because you just don't get that crisp edge if you don't have enough pixels. Now, if you're working in, let's say, like painterly style, where it is kind of blurry, it may not affect the overall outcome. And if you hang something up on the wall and step back from it far enough, of course it'll look good. You're viewing it at a distance, so it's, you know, basically you physically increased the pixel count. So Chico, there's two ways to do it. When you yeah, I'm like, excuse you. So in Photoshop, when you're resizing, right, if you have resample unchecked, you can increase and decrease the size of your image as much as you want, and the pixels should go up and down accordingly. The only time you would check resample is when, like what I'm doing with the file to make it smaller, is if you're posting on the web. So I check resample, I decrease the pixels from 300 to 72, and I change the pixel width to 700. And what I've done is I've taken 300 pixels and I've thrown away all that extra pixel information so that there's only 72 per inch instead of 300. I've thrown that data away, so it's gone. You can't get it back unless you like go to a previous version or you undo. Now that version of the image is now small. If you try to then increase that, you're gonna get a blurry image. It's just no two shakes about it. So you never want to increase the pixels. Now you can always decrease, and it may not affect the quality. What I did was I threw my banner into Photoshop and I resampled it down. And yeah, it doesn't look great. Of course, when you are hanging a banner, it's up high, so it doesn't really matter. But pixels do matter. You may be able to, you know, work around it. And certainly, there's no hard and fast rule when it comes to art. I have printed for someone who shot photography underwater, and she wanted to print her stuff on silk. So her stuff, even though she blew it up really big to the point where she had like 72 pixels, it still looked fine because it was on silk and it was flowy and the images were kind of ethereal. So it kind of worked. So there's nothing saying like, oh, you have to do it 150 to 400 pixels per inch or else it won't look good. It's not true. It could look good, and sometimes you don't need it to look terribly good, you know? Resizing always affects the quality in a way, but yeah, going up in size is bad. And that's, Chico, that's what the pixels are for. You say the pixels don't matter, but if you wanted to increase the size, then they do. And especially with, like, let's say this panel, what I'm doing right now is cutting out a thumbnail for the episode. So if I, let's say, wanted to take this and make a print out of it, okay? At the resolution I drew it in, it would probably actually, I would be able to size it up to the point where I can make a decent looking poster. If I had drawn it at a low resolution and then I wanted to increase the size so that it became a poster, it would not look good. Fun fact, my paintings can take a whole wall. That's really cool. I've never done anything mural size. I think the largest thing I've printed is, I want to say 24 by 36, which is a decent size print. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I've never done anything mural size. It's really cool when you finally see your image really big. Oh no, 72 dpi. That's so small. Tail says, okay, I'm done sketching this page. That's what I've decided. Oh man, you gotta sketch more than just one. Oh, look at that. So the footage has gone out. And you know what? I think it's about time we start to wrap up things. Let me turn this off. Oops. Put that to the side. And I hope you guys can see the desktop now. Hello. And we are going to open up Photoshop and get this stream wrapped up in our usual way, in our traditional way. It's been a while since we've done a Pokemon from memory, I think. And I think for today, since I don't have my dice with me, we'll just do a traditional Pokemon from memory challenge. And if anyone wants to join me, it's probably just Chico and Tails at this point. If I have to be honest, I didn't check the stream data, but we've been going for quite a while. If you do want to join in, it'll be a lot of fun to just draw together, and then next week I can show off everyone's stuff. But I am going to make... I'm gonna make a 5x5 at 300. And that's enough for me. Nyx is joining in too! Hurrah! Huzzah! We still got a Nyx! I'm sure there are places that will print your stuff on textiles, Chico. I don't know how much it'll cost, but I'm sure that's a service out there. Tail says I need to be done sketching this page though, because I need to start inking. I want line art to be done in time for the art stream. You're doing one tomorrow? Are you doing... Oh wait, tomorrow's Tuesday. You're doing one Wednesday? You doing on Wednesday? Are ya? Alright, I thought you said the streams will be for you to work on your pages though. Why are you getting it done before the streams? Thank you, Tails. She says grade A desktop image. That image of Surf Ranches looks like it was drawn by Aaron Blaze. Hey, I used Aaron Blaze's brush. I bought this brush from him. It's great. But yeah, I'm super inspired by his streams. Speaking of, I guess I will use his brush then. I'm kind of embarrassed though, because I went and purchased this brush while he was having a sale along with a bunch of others, and then after doing that, it turns out he had offered this specific brush on its own for free to anyone who was signed up to the newsletter. And I had just missed the newsletter. So the only brush that I wanted, that I paid $3 for a whole set to get this one brush, was for free. Anyways. I don't want to ink on string because I'm so bad at it. Aw, Tails, you're not bad. You just need to work on it. Have you been doing it at a higher resolution at least, or at least, you know, a bigger canvas? Someone drop a Pokemon. If you don't want to, I can pull up a random. How about I pull up a rando? Let me open up Firefox. Give me a sec. Let's go to the bookmark. Random Pokemon generator. I don't want to see sprites. I don't want to see all of these. I just want one. All regions. And go. Mega Rayquaza. Okay, guys. We're doing a Mega Rayquaza tonight. Okay, guys. Mega Rayquaza from memory. This is gonna be fun. It's not only me that hates you then. Oh gosh. Okay, so do we want to each draw a different Pokemon? Let's put that as a question. Because if I start drawing, you'll see how I'm drawing it. Or would it be funnier to everyone draw one? Oh, I haven't started on the new page digitally. Oh. By the way, doing a random Pokemon with a random palette is so much fun. Do you want to do one of those? If we have time, we can do one of those too. Oh no, it's like 11 o'clock. I need to go home. But okay, let's just do this thing. I'm gonna draw it, and you guys can draw it or generate your own. But I know for a fact that Mega Rayquaza has a big ol' arrow head for his head. Big ol' arrow shape. Something like that. Oh, this is gonna be really bad. Shoot. Big angry eyes. I think he has these kind of things on his body and circles. Oh man, if Tails was here, she would probably be the closest because she actually has to draw this for her Nuzlocke. We've not the expertise for this sort of thing, and I'm all running out of space. Wait, who? Oh, I'm sorry, Mouse. Did I say Tails? I meant Mouse. If she was still here. Sorry, mice have tails. I get confused, okay? I'm not saying you're both wearing the same wardrobe, but I am saying I get your names confused today. I'm also like running on low. It's been a long day. I think he has more of these things. I'm just gonna add these things because I'm certain he has some of them. Wait, it's an SHGSS Heart Gold Soul Silver. Oh, guys, I'm kind of excited. I don't know for sure, but I was on the phone today. It took me an hour waiting for them to get to me. I was on hold for an hour, but I finally got a human on the phone, and I got to talk with Adobe, and I think when I get my new computer, I should have Photoshop. They said that they emailed me the serial number again, and that it should work once I get my new computer. So fingers crossed, I should have my beloved Photoshop when I get a new computer. Also, I think if I order one through the school that I work for before April 4th, I should get a discount since I work here. So I'm gonna try and do that maybe tomorrow. I need to check my bank account again to make sure that I have enough. But I'm pretty sure that's something that I can get. They're having a sale, I think, for just university staff and faculty. So I should be able to save at least $200 on that. Shoot. I don't know what the tail looks like. Let's curl this up. Let's get some kind of shape going. Let's see. He has arms. I seem to recall Rayquaza has arms. And he has whiskers. Where do the whiskers come from? I think they come from here. I think he has like stuff like this. And like this. Oops. That looks about right. Why did I choose this brush? Sometimes I don't plan ahead, guys, and this is one of those cases where I chose a brush and then I chose an art style that don't match each other. This brush is really good for sketching and it's really good for painting, but it doesn't work good for line art. And for some reason, as soon as I started drawing, I decided, you know what? I'm going to go for a just go for it style. Yeah, it does not work together. So that's the thing with digital art is there are tools out there to make your life really easy. But then if you choose the wrong tools, it can just increase the struggle. Nix doesn't even know how to start this. How's everyone else doing? Is there any sort of memory in anyone's mind on what this thing looks like? I feel like they're cheating. Is it fair to just throw us in with not only a legendary, but like a mega legendary? This doesn't seem right. I'd like to file a complaint. I think he has a triangle on his head too, as I draw a diamond. Make him cute. Give him a little eye thing. I don't know what else to do. I think this is it. This is it. Oh, he has lips. He has lips. And I'm just gonna give him some eyeliner too. Let's color it. Let's see how close I can get. No, he's still green, right? I want to say he's still green. I'm not gonna If he's like, if he turns a different color, like black or something, I'm gonna be completely off. But I believe Mega Rayquaza is still green. I've been spoiled so like for a while with the Pokemon challenges because I haven't had to do a Pokemon from memory, so I've kind of like lost my touch with trying to remember how Pokemon look. I've just been looking them up and being like, wow, this is so nice. Howdy gamers, hello Midna. You've joined us just in time. If you want to draw with us, we're doing Pokemon from memory. This is my best approximation of what a Mega Rayquaza looks like. Yeah, but I know you're not, you said you don't draw much, but I mean, this is no work of art either. This is just for fun, to see if we can remember what it looks like. And if you want to draw one and drop it in Tails' Discord, I'll be glad to show it off next week's stream. On next week's stream. Yeah, I didn't drop a link in Tails' Discord this time around because it's more of a niche topic. It was basically just me talking about my comic all night, so I didn't know if anyone on that Discord would be interested, but it's good to see you here. Midna says, I have every classes, so I can't stay long, but I'm stopping by to say hi. I'm so glad you came to say hi. You have graced us with your mimetic powers. Your presence is always a blessing. Chico says, I'm doing great. Rayquaza equals Sceptile. No, Rayquaza is not a Sceptile. Try again. Chico, if you just draw a Sceptile, I'm going to lose it. I'm gonna flip something. The reign of PS continues? Sketches, other lines, and other paints. I'm gonna draw the same thing to show the different styles. Wait, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Wait. Please no. By the way, random Pokemon with random palette. La la la. Please no. Reroll. Okay, there's many games. One is to draw the same thing to show the different styles. The other one is one sketches, other lines, other paints. The reign of Photoshop continues. Oh, okay. Oh, you did? Oh, Tails, thank you. That's so nice of you. I should drop a link for your your Kingdom Hearts streams. I don't think anyone in my Discord is into Sonic like we are, but they might be into Kingdom Hearts. Oh, but you're almost done with Kingdom Hearts, aren't you? Well, you're gonna play the second game, so. Tails, have you not kept your episodes up on Twitch? I went back to your page the other day and I tried to rewatch some of the Shadow the Hedgehog playthroughs and they weren't there. At least I couldn't find them. I'm also really bad with computers, so that might have been me. LMAO, almost done with Kingdom Hearts. The first one, right? No? Never be done with this game series. Well, maybe not the series, but like the first game, right? Am I just like, am I wrong? I honestly, it just goes to show how little I know about Kingdom Hearts. But it looks like, at least it sounded like you guys were almost done. Okay. Chico, I'm coloring mine because I feel like it's such a mess that you wouldn't be able to get a good approximation. But go ahead and drop it in the show and tell, and next week I will show off. I'll collect everything in a folder, and I'll just show off next week on the stream before I draw one of these again. Give him some lipstick. Mwah. Just paint them lips. I think these are red, but I could be wrong. It looks wrong. I don't think they're yellow. Shoot, I don't know. What if I made it yellow? Oh, hold on, I'm doing this wrong. I should just select. I'm over here lining stuff, coloring stuff by hand like a Neanderthal. I think, let me try yellow. Are y'all done? I'm gonna look up the actual... I'm gonna look at what it actually looks like. Let's see. Mega Ray Quasar. Look at this beast. You know, guys, I don't know if I would even be able to draw this with a reference. It's so bad. It's not even close. I think I may have gotten close to like regular Rayquaza. Wait, let me look at what a regular Rayquaza looks like. I just want to see. Just Rayquaza. Just give me Rayquaza. Okay, so the circles on its body are yellow. Oh, it's got like linked ones, and then these guys are red. There's like red on the tips of those. But he has the nose. Oh, okay, that part is red. Okay, so it's closer to regular Rayquaza, but it's still not good. How did you guys do? Anyone got close? I think it would probably be interesting. Let me see if I can even draw a regular one. Not a but like a real one based on this reference. And I'll go fast. Don't worry. Don't you worry. I just want to see. Let me see if this thing is even drawable. Everything comes to a point. Oh, he's got teeth. Oh, I hate this. I hate this so much. Anyone who does like an Oraz comic that then has to like draw this guy, like, I guess more power to you. This is just way too much. Yeah, no, I don't think I will ever be able to draw this guy from memory. This is just not one of those Pokemon. At least Zekrom, like Zekrom is bad. let me tell you, I do not like drawing Zekrom at all. But at least her I can kind of approximate what it might look like. So it's kind of possible. But with this guy, oh man, it's not even coherent in some places. And then, like, what are these holes? These like gems on the side of his body. He's got some kind of apron on the front here that's black. He's like wearing an apron. He's got jet wings all over his body. This is a mess. Yeah, I'm not gonna finish this, but he's got these wispy things coming off of his horns here. That's what I remember. That's what I was going with the big thing. Okay, well, I just needed to see. I see with my pen. You know how Smoochum sees with its lips and, like, you know, dogs see with their nose? I see with my pen. I don't truly understand something until I've drawn it. But hey, that's our stream tonight, guys. Thank you so much for I guess this is it. We are done for. All of my audio is just rip all of my audio. But can you hear me now? Because I want to thank everyone for the stream. I want to make sure that you all know that I appreciate you coming here. Thanks to all my patrons that are on the screen right now for help supporting me. They are buying me a computer next month, or at least helping with the funds, which is mucho gracias. And hey, if you drew a Mega Rayquaza today, drop it somewhere where I can see it. We'll try and figure out a hashtag someday. It could be like Zero Draws or Zero Pro Stream Draws, or we'll think of something. But until next time, I'll see y'all next month. Adios. Take care. Sayonara. Avitasen. Au revoires. Cha cha. Adios.